Sometimes the bro dude comes out running his mouth, and we're gonna keep those receipts. Let's talk about how you can't stop some stupid people from saying stupid things, Clint, today on the Locked podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Bulldogs. He is Daniel. I am Clint. This is part of Locked On Podcast, your team every day, part of Locked On Atlanta. Go follow those guys over there and gals. It's fantastic. We're glad you're here with us today. We are talking Bro Dude and Barstool Sports and National Media Guy. We have so much to talk about. I have so much to say. The interaction with national media. I want to make sure. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, in 3 steps, we're going to talk to you about our boy, and we're going to give him by name because he deserves it over at Barstool. If I could find his name, Brandon Walker over at Barstool. He's the host of the best wrestling interview in the world.
Go give him a listen. Go give him a listen, man. Go give this man a listen. This is what we're trying to know.
We sent you.
Tell
him Locked On Bulldogs sent me.
Give him those clicks. Give him those clicks.
So
he needs.
We're going to talk about Brandon Walker said that our offensive line cannot be better than last year because of our feelings. He said Georgia fans only feel like our offensive line is going to be better.
I do.
The second segment, I have
nailed that.
The second segment, we're going to talk about how he believes we are a top 10 team, but not a playoff team, and we will go 10-2 this year as Georgia Bulldogs. 10-2.
Cool,
and then lastly.
Cool.
He says we can't have a good defense. You can't lose an entire NFL roster on defense and have a good one the next year. We're going to dismantle Brandon and all of his erroneous views and all of his, I'm going to just say, foolish, pathetic national interest who clearly doesn't follow a lick of actual football, but rather gets a talking point on his screen and makes some conjecture like he's on ESPN College Game Day making picks with a famous chef in the background. They don't know jack. Okay? Yep. This is my point. This whole started on Twitter. You can go check the receipts. It was disgusting. Daniel. Yeah,
Clint's thumbs were working overtime. Really got into some Twitter beefs in there. I may have jumped in once or twice, but man, I can't keep up with my man over there on the Twitter these days. If this episode of the podcast were a Netflix special, it would be called The Anatomy of an Idiot, Clint. That's what we're really doing here. Yes. We're breaking down, we're going inside an idiot's psyche to see what it is that makes them tick. What it is that makes them so bad at knowing things about the sport that you and I both love, particularly about the team that we love. And listen, it's not his fault for not knowing things. I'm going to say that right up front. It's not his fault. Do you know what I don't know a lot about?
A lot.
Miami Hurricanes situation. I know it's not great, by the way. I have read some things that let me know that the FBI is now involved. It's not great.
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
But I don't know a ton about the Miami Hurricanes because do you know why? I don't follow the Miami Hurricanes. Clint.
Oh, that's why.
Therein lies the beauty of the Locked On, not just the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, but the entire Locked On podcast network. Is if you want to know about the Miami, well, guess what? Motor on down to Locked On Miami and listen to somebody who actually knows about the Miami Hurricanes talking about them. It's not his fault he doesn't know. What is his fault is that he claims to know. And
correct.
We know that he does that to get listens. And we've told you, Georgia fans, go listen to him. It'll be fun. But we're going to talk about what he said, Clint, and let's start with the offensive line because it's just our feeling that the offensive line is going to be better. Is that correct? That's what was purported. And you see any problem with that argument?
What was purported was that Georgia fans just simply think their offensive line is going to be better, and you can't do that. You need to back this with cold, hard facts, scientific truth. Okay, so here's the point. Here's the problem that I have with Brandon. He's coming out here saying your offensive line can't be better than last year at all. And my response to him was, why? He goes, well, you tell me why it's better. And I said, oh, I don't know. Because we're returning a right who is third best in the entire nation at limiting pressures. The first being Jamari Salyer, who is left tackle. Oh, you want to talk about left tackle? What about the 5-star stud who is an NFL-ready talent right now who came in and wrecked Anderson in the national championship game, didn't let him sniff Stetson when he came in to play left tackle.
Best player in college football, so I've been heard. Neutralized.
So I've been told. Cedric Van Pran, who is all SEC watch list center, who anchored an offensive line coming back. Those are 3 studs who are back this year. Then you get Tate Ratledge.
But that's it? Is that it? Oh,
no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
What if I was to tell you Warren Erickson, who much maligned Warren Erickson, which I don't understand, Daniel. Like I
think he performed well enough last year.
He did.
Let me ask you this. Do you expect Warren Erickson to be better, worse, or the same as he was last year? Do college football players get worse with age? Is this like the NFL where the later they get in their career, the worse they get? Is that how it is in college, Clint? When people come back for another year, are they better, worse, or the same typically?
Typically, they are better unless they transfer out of a program because they weren't getting better and getting passed up on the depth chart and had to go to a different school to get playing time. Where have I heard that?
We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them right now.
And then you get Tate Ratledge back from a season-ending injury last year, who is the nastiest offensive lineman. I didn't say the most talented.
He was a starter on this team. He was a starter last year. Now he's had the injury. He's back. He's got another year of camp. He's got another year in the program, another year in the system. And now he comes back. So his backups last year were playing.
Correct.
So how do we get better than we were last year, Clint? I don't know. Maybe you take out the backups and you put in the guy that was already better than them last year.
That's only at one position. The rest of them, again, I'm getting
the rest of them are all back.
A right tackle who was third best at not allowing pressures. He's back. He's running it back. Jones is back. Go look at the tape. That's why. So, and admittedly, what happened to our boy Brandon is he was fighting me this entire time talking about Fields. I just simply said, here are all the starters back. And then he said, oh, that's a good point. And I said,
and you said, you don't know anything about the team. See, that's the confusing part.
Point. That's my point. My point is you can't tell me we're not better because you didn't know all that. You should have said,
you don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they will be. Help me out, Georgia fans. And I would have said, no problem.
One of us is feeling something and basing our assessment on that. And the other one of us knows something and is basing our assessment on. That's what you're saying, Clint.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's come back and talk about some more feelings that we have about this Georgia football team. But first, I want to tell you about Built Bar and Clint. Before I can't even talk to the listeners about Built Bar. I need to talk to you about Built Bar. Did you get the mud pie Built Bars?
They're gone, Daniel. I got the Built Bars, the mud pies, and they're gone.
See, one of them immediately consumed. The other, I put it straight in that freezer. I said, M-dubs, this one's for you. I popped it straight in the freezer. Executive producer, intern Michael Secret, take a Built Bar. They're the tastiest protein bar, by the way, on planet Earth. They come in a wide variety of delicious flavors, the newest of which is mud pie. And if you think it sounds good, it is good. It's chocolate, it's marshmallow, it's soft, it's delicious. 100% chocolate on that thing. It is high in protein, high in fiber, low in sugar. Keto approved, great for whatever diet or meal plan you are on. BuiltBar.com. Enter the promo code LOCKEDON15. That's LOCKEDON15 at BuiltBar.com. You get 15% off your entire order. Get yourself a whole box of these mud pies. Get yourself a variety pack. Get yourself 3, 5, 7, 12 boxes. Whatever it takes, BuiltBar.com is there for you. The tastiest protein bar on planet Earth, BuiltBar.com. So
the
Clint,
second thing that Brandon, our boy, said, Daniel, was almost as stupid.
Some would say, in a big picture sense, more stupid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I would. In the global sense, this is more ridiculous.
Here's what I learned before we get into that. We're going to talk about the prediction that Georgia would go 10-2 in the regular season, and that they would not make the college football playoff. Now, not make the college football playoff. Okay. There's only 4 teams who make the college football playoff. It's not exactly breaking news that somebody predicts that any team in America would not make the college football playoff. But a 10-2 prediction is more or less what I want to talk about. Before I get into that, I learned generally some things from this interaction. And if you're new to Twitter, maybe you're listening to this podcast, you don't have Twitter. First of all, kudos to you. If you don't have the Twitter, bless you. You are the kind of people that the world needs more of. Yes. Here's what I learned about arguing with someone on Twitter. Here's how it works. Okay. If you want a lot of followers and you want to have a lot of influence, this is how you argue with people on Twitter. Okay. Someone says something like, there were people who picked Florida ahead of Georgia last year. And then you say, no, there wasn't. Not one person in America, not a single one, not one.
That's what we have receipts that what he said.
And then someone responds, no, there actually were. And you say, name one. And the person responds, actually, here are about 7. Here are 7 or so people that did that.
7 SEC Media Days. Literally 7.
And you say, you're a clown. That's how you argue with someone on Twitter.
That's the interaction that took place. That's how it literally went, play by play. And I go, I don't know what to do now because you asked me to do the thing, and I did the thing.
I did.
And then
I did the thing.
He's a clown.
And this idiot over here.
Clown. No, okay. You're the clown that doesn't know how to actually communicate and converse. And I've kept receipts. We're all going to keep receipts. We're coming back for you in December. This is the 10-2 comment, Daniel. And the 10-2 comment.
Let's talk about Kelly. Let's talk about Kelly Ford, who, I don't know, do you know this? Do you know this Kelly Ford? He puts out some ratings, some rankings every year. He's a stats guy. He's an analytics guy. He's a great follow. K Ford Ratings on Twitter. If you're not over there, he will not get into an argument with you where he curses at you for no reason. He's good. He's very smart head on his shoulders. So we're not going to go to like Dawgs stats or somebody that's going to be biased and that's going to be supported. Let's go to a national observer of college football, Kelly Ford. And lo and behold, who does he say has the highest expected win rate of any team in college football? Tied with Ohio State, 2 teams at the top. Yes. No one has a higher expected win rate than, lo and behold, it's the University of Georgia. And the median expected win rate, Clint, is 11. There is, according to Kelly Ford, a 74% chance that Georgia wins at least 11 games next year.
Huh.
So, I don't know. You could call me an idiot for saying that Georgia's going to go undefeated again. You could say, I don't know, something like it's very hard to go undefeated 2 years in a row in college football. Well,
these are true things. Okay.
That's true. But let me just stop you right there. That's like saying it's very hard for the roulette wheel to come down on black 2 times in a row. But when the roulette wheel, Clint, has already come down on black once, and then you spin it again, they're not that bad that it's going to happen again. Also, I don't know if you know this, but college football is not roulette, Clint.
No.
It's a competitive sport where football players play against each other. And when you have better football players, look at any recruiting rankings over the last 4 years, when you have better football players than every other school in college football, and you don't play the school that's next in line or next in line or next in line, or next in line, or next, or next, or next, or next, or next, or next, or next. You don't play any of those schools in the regular season. All of a sudden, we're not really spinning a roulette wheel anymore, Clint.
No, sir.
It's almost like we're better. We have better players.
Continually.
So it's not sick that Georgia would go undefeated 2 years in a row. In fact, according to people who actually look at it and look at the numbers and make these educated, objective assessments, it's a 3 out of 4 chance that Georgia wins 11 or more games.
11 games. And that's what's ridiculous is the understanding. I get it. Yes, it seems improbable. But every single time you flip a quarter, Daniel, it's the same odds the next time that you flip the quarter as it was before.
Yeah.
No matter your feeling on 5 heads in a row, you're like, oh, it's got to be tails this time. No, it has the same exact odds as it has before. College football, just because you don't think, oh, you last year's success, you can't repeat it. Well, what do you mean by last year's success, you can't repeat it? Of course you can. Check out dynasties. Why do you think Alabama's going to be in the playoff every single year for the past 6 years? Why do you think? Were they in the playoff last year? Oh,
because they're Alabama and we're Georgia and they're Alabama. That's why. It probably isn't because they have better players than all the teams that they play and are well coached
that way.
and are ready to go every week. And now, oh, look at Georgia. We're talking the regular season, Clint. We're talking the regular season. Like, who does Georgia play? How are you going to – I understand it's hard to win 12 games.
What you're telling me, Brandon,
and Oregon.
Is you think we're – and Oregon. Okay, you're going to say we're losing 2 out of 3 of those.
2 out of 3?
I'm sorry. Okay, that's fine. But again, and one of the points that he said is Stetson Bennett, not a good quarterback. You can't – that was just luck. That was just whatever, yada, yada, yada.
Well,
again,
all the Georgia fans said amen to that. All the Georgia fans,
but again,
actually got on board.
Bryce Young, this is thanks to Dawgs stats. Bryce Young, yards per attempt, 8.8. Stetson Bennett, 9.9. EPA, you can go over at Dawgs stats and figure out all these analytics. Stetson is better than Bryce Young in these analytics, deep dive analytics of efficiency of passing attempts and what he's able to do. And you can dismiss those because you don't understand them. That's fine.
I mean, look, when you're grabbing for the low-hanging Stetson fruit, I've already won the argument. So that's a public service announcement to you, Brandon, and to every listener out there. When you're grabbing for the low-hanging Stetson fruit, I'm already on top. So it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah, and also, this is the last comment on us going 10-2. When we say, no, we have a good chance. Why? And we come up with these responses. The response back to us is, oh, that's just a homer answer. You're right, it's a homer answer. And again, here's my point. If I go to a city that I've never covered or learned about or Google searched, and you live there, and you tell me where the best restaurant is, because Daniel could tell you where the best queso is in Nashville. He could take me there right now. He's probably going to pick it up after we record.
I'm literally going to go there after we finish recording. Would you hurry up so that I can leave?
I know. Guess what? I'm going to trust Daniel on that instead of...
That's a homer pick. That queso recommendation. Just a homer pick.
Educated. That's our point. Hey, we're going to come back after this. We're going to talk about the defense since we lost so many players, Daniel.
Well, he has a good point. He has a good point. There's no possible way the defense is going to be any good.
Or is there?
We're talking about this defense, the anatomy of an idiot. We're on to phase 3. And phase 3 is we've now said that your offensive line is not going to be better. People don't get better at football over time. That's just your feelings.
No, of course.
We've covered you can't go undefeated 2 years in a row because that's hard. So we've covered those two. Now let's what I think is what you're going to hear this a lot this year because it's going to be the overwhelming national media narrative. And that is, you can't lose that much talent, Clint, to the NFL draft. You just can't do it and still be good. And so this defense, Clint, I don't know if you know this. You might want to brace yourself. It's going to fall off a cliff this year. And there's no way around it. Do you know why? Because, quote, an entire NFL roster's worth of defensive players were drafted into the NFL, which, by the way, thank you for the compliment. I see by reading through some of the comments that you don't know the difference between 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, and JUCOs, but we can maybe cover that on a future episode. But we did lose to the NFL. Kind would make you believe that this defense is any good this year.
Let me go back again, Daniel, because again, the argument is this: you can't lose that much talent and be good. Well, sir, what if I was to tell you that actually Georgia's team last year, the year we had the best defense in the history of college football, the year we won a national championship, we only returned of that team 39% of the previous year's team. Okay? 39%. Channing Tindall was not getting a lot of run, Daniel, at all.
Oh. So you're saying 2020, you're saying 2020 versus 2021, it was a 39% return.
Huge drop off on all those people we lost. Okay.
Boy, oh boy.
Do you know how much we returned this year? We returned 44%. We returned more production from last year's historic defense than we did gain the defense from the previous year. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying we're getting more talent back than we did the previous year on which we had the greatest defense. And if there's a regression, if we aren't as good as last year, again, the best defense in the history of college football, of course we're not going to be that. I don't anticipate us to be that. Do you?
I don't think you'll find any Georgia fan that is purporting that that's what this year's Georgia team is going to be.
Okay. But let's say we're like, I don't know, Daniel, 85% of that.
Pretty good.
Okay. 85% of the best defense ever. Again, Kirby Smart's defense year after year since he has been there for 6 years, Daniel, has always had a success rate against the offense of we win 59% of the snaps against offense every single year since he's been there. Last year, we won a historic clip. This is just stupid how much. 68% of the time we won each snap, which is just stupid. Okay.
Not going to be that again.
No. Let's say we win 58% again. Do you know what year we won 58% of the snaps? We went to the Rose Bowl and we had one of the greatest college football games.
Playoffs? In the college football playoffs?
That's the one, Daniel.
The thing that we're not going to make?
That's the one.
Okay. Well, see, the thing about it is it just is lazy. It's lazy. Okay? Because was there a lot of NFL talent? Yes, there was.
15.
But in case you haven't heard, Jalen Carter, not a starter on last year's defense. Okay? Now, you're a fan of Devontae Wyatt, are you or are you not?
Love Devontae Wyatt. Love him.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's better, Jalen Carter or Devontae Wyatt?
It's not particularly close. He's the best defensive player.
Ask anyone.
Jalen. Ask anyone.
Ask anyone. Ask Devontae Wyatt's mother, who's a better football player. Okay? Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's better. Not a starter, though. So you lose all your starters on the defensive line. I don't know if you know that, Clint. You lose them all.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, but you don't. You don't lose them all because Jalen Carter coming back.
He's back. Oh, he's back.
How about linebackers? Well, you lose them all, Clint. Oh, except Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, the anchor of the line core, he back. How about in the secondary? You lose them all, Clint.
All of them.
Except Christopher Smith and Keely Ringo. Yep. They're both back. But it's not that, Clint. That's not the lazy part. The lazy part is that you're not even talking about people like Tyke Smith. Clint. Tyke Smith, who was going to be a starter on that unit. Do you remember us talking about Tate Ratledge a few minutes ago? And then you replaced Tate Ratledge with Tate Ratledge's backups. Do you think we were better or worse with Tate Ratledge's backups than we would have been with Tate Ratledge? Well, let me ask you the same question about Tyke Smith, Clint. Tyke Smith injured and out the entire year, and now all of a sudden he matriculates himself back onto the field, And lo and behold, you have a presumed starter from your team who's back. So there's more returning starters on this team than you are even aware are on the roster, sir. So, Georgia has lost a ton on defense. But to say that the cupboard is bare is the most laughable, idiotic thing in the world. Because, and this will be the final point I make on this, it needs to come from you.
Thank you.
College football is not communism. I don't know if you understand this, right? Are you following me? College football, it's July 4th is coming up. It's a couple weeks away. I hope you're making your plans. I hope you're getting ready to celebrate with friends and family. I hope you're getting ready to blow something up in a safe but not too safe type of a way. Okay, you understand?
Clutching them pearls. You got to clutch them pearls every so often.
For you and the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, I hope you're excited to celebrate the 4th of July. College football is not a communist situation. And by that, I mean you don't take all the talent and then just divvy it up between the football teams and then go out there and play the games. And so now all of a sudden, Georgia has lost all its talent. Whereas look at other teams. They didn't have that many players drafted into the NFL. So clearly, that means they didn't lose as much talent. So clearly, that must mean that they have more talent remaining. But, Clint, when Elon Musk walks down the street and he drops a few $100 bills on the ground.
Okay.
And I walk down the street and I drop a nickel on the ground.
Okay.
Who lost more money, Clint?
You did, Daniel.
Oh, that's interesting. Who has more money still?
More than anybody else in the world, Elon Musk.
What if I were to tell you that Georgia's the Elon Musk in this situation, Brandon?
I see
what if I were to tell you that we got a lot of players on the campus here, and so when we lose some, we did lose some. You were right about that, but we're not poor. You understand? Like there's not a lot of poverty in the program here.
No poverty. Here's my last statement, and this is a direct plea to Brandon Walker himself. Brandon, if you're listening to this, I'm going to send you this link on Twitter, Brandon. I'm going to ask you to listen to the end all the way. I am inviting you to come on Locked On Bulldogs and discuss all of these points to us.
Be a heck of a time.
Here's why we're not those little schleps that you push over with your stupid hypotheticals. And the Irish dude on Twitter following you around like he is your fanboy won't be here to save you.
Everybody's got one. Everybody's got one.
I have at my disposal actual facts, and you just have Barstool Bro dude with bets and calling us clowns. And be better. How can you be better? Actually come and compete right here on Locked On Bulldogs. That's my open invitation to you. Don't be lazy. Don't be stupid. I had to educate Josh late night kick last year on this when he said Clemson was going to roll through us and Georgia is a joke and a clown show. And I came after him. And how'd that work out? I'm here, Brandon.
I don't think I heard the words joke and clown show, but that's how we're going to retell it. When we retell it, that's how it comes out. Clint, I don't know if you know this, but
Brandon,
he has more followers than us, and his show is listened to by more people than us, and so that means he's better than us. You're going to get that. So just be ready for it.
Colin Cowherd has a national TV program on which he doesn't know anything about sports.
Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Brandon. These are your arguments. These are the people that you're hitching your wagon to by making that argument. Thanks so much. All right. We're the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. Brandon will never be on to defend himself, but go tell him we sent you, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.
See ya.